Se você é um apaixonado por filmes faroestes, você está no canal correto. Apenas faroestes. Filmes e séries inesquecíveis. Curta esse canal. Inscreva-se e participe do seu crescimento. Compartilhe nas suas redes sociais. Apenas faroeste.
Not guilty.
He's not guilty.
Griner is guilty. He shot and killed an unarmed man. That jury acquitted him. But I didn't. I'm not about to.
Hey, John. John!
Not guilty!
Not guilty.
They say he's not guilty! Jury's turned it down! Not guilty!
Griner's not guilty. Hey, John. Where you going?
Hey, Mr. Deegan, wait up!
He's gonna get himself a gun. I'll bet you. I'll bet you.
There's gonna be a lot of people unhappy about that verdict.
Unhappy? More like wild.
Have you seen Jim Fisher come out?
No, we were looking for him.
Boys are blocking the doorway. Please, spread out. Go on home. Go on about your business. I'm bringing Will Griner out here, and I don't want any fuss or disturbance. You understand? Please, folks, move on. Go ahead. Oh, Ben, I'd like to see you in the house over in my office in about 10 minutes. And if you see Jim Fisher, bring him along, will you?
I'll go see if we can find him.
You people.
Why don't you boys check at the Silver Dollar?
Right, Bob.
There he is. Murder! You murder!
Please, we can't have that. Over here. Griner, you step this way, please.
What for?
I'm going to put you in protective custody.
Wait. You can't put me in any cell knowing you have no right.
That's where you're wrong, Mr. Griner. I can and I will lock you up.
Roy, do you know what the blazes you're doing?
Yes. I'm putting your client in protective custody.
All right, you're the lawyer. Speak up. Tell this old fool what he can and can't
I'm
do.
going to have to remind you that my client has been tried by the court and acquitted, and here's an order stating you're releasing.
But the circumstances...
You heard him. Now give me my gun and let me get out of here.
Griner, I'm doing you a favor by holding you in protective custody. Now you heard that crowd outside.
Forget the crowd. I can take care of myself.
Roy, my client appreciates your offer, but he prefers to go home.
Not yet. Come on.
Roy, you're buying more trouble than you can handle. Do you know what you're doing?
I think I know what I'm doing.
I'll thank you for this. I'll see that you get thrown out of office. Now you get back to that judge. You get a writ, you get something, but you get me out of here. Now!
Guilty.
John. I came straight over here as soon as the judge turned us loose.
Well, well, well. Good old George.
Afternoon, Stud. Well, I'm real glad to see you got the place open up again. That's what we've all got to do. Pick right up where we left off. Business as usual. I just wanted to be sure you didn't have no hard feelings.
Get out, George.
Now, look, John. You think it was easy? There wasn't one of us on that jury that liked it. But there was nothing else we could do.
Get out. Now.
All right, if you're going to act that way.
You too, Stud. Out.
I thought I might go out.
No, you can earn your beer money somewhere else now. Get out.
Well, looky here. Hey, Stat, look here what I found.
Now, I was only doing my duty.
You ain't never gonna see me in your barbershop ever again. Me and a lot of other people. Right. We'll cut our hair with sheep shears. Run, you yellow dog, run!
Roy, don't make me go get a writ. It's just gonna make you look bad.
Never mind how it makes him look. Get it.
You gotta release him.
Harry, I've asked these men to come over and see me. I want to talk to them privately. Please sit down, gentlemen.
If it concerns my client, Roy, I'm gonna have to stick around and listen.
I guess that's all right. Ben, at any time before or during the trial, did anyone try to get either of you to change your testimony?
Not me.
No, not me.
Tig, they're trying to frame me. You let them and I'll have your hide on the barn door.
Now,
If there was some hint that you could remember, some suggestion that maybe didn't seem important at the time, I could charge Griner and continue to hold him.
Well, Roy, our testimony concerned that fist fight 2 days before the murder.
Yeah.
Roy, I'm gonna have to protest. You got no grounds for any of this.
I say I do. Jim Fisher told one story in this office. He told another in court. Charlie Tettinger, key witness, never even went to court. Now, somebody got to them for sure, and you know it.
I've been patient with you. Now, you gonna make me go get that writ, or you gonna release him?
I think Griner should stay in protective custody.
Well, you know, there may be trouble.
Well, Ben, the man is being detained illegally. He wants to go home. You can't hold him here.
All right. You can take him. But if anything happens to him, it's going to be on your head and not mine. Ordinarily, I'd go after Jim and Charlie and shake the truth out of them, but my deputy's in Sacramento, and I just can't leave town the way things are. Why, some of those people, there's no telling what they'll do.
I tell you, what worries me is Johnny Deegan.
Me too, Ben. See, isn't he a kind of a friend of yours?
Good friend.
Well, then you better get to him and talk to him, and maybe you can stop trouble before it starts.
Yeah. Gosh.
Please, let me talk to you.
Louise. Come on now, Louise. There's nothing to cry about.
Oh.
Everything's going to be all right, Louise.
Oh, Ben, I'm frightened. He's going to do something dreadful, I know it.
Is Johnny in there?
He must be. I've looked everywhere else. I've got to talk to him.
Louise, why don't you go on home? I'll talk to Johnny and send him over here.
Ben, I'm worried.
Come on, I'll walk you.
Everything's going to be all right. It's a promise. Johnny, it's Ben.
Go away, Ben.
You open up this door, I'll kick it in. You gonna kill Griner?
And I've been studying on it. I think that's what I've got to do.
I think you'll find this all in order. I can see to the edge of town. No need. Griner, you've been acquitted. It ain't gonna hurt you now to tell the truth.
Now, don't you say nothing.
You did a good job, Counselor. Send me the bill.
I will, Griner. And it's gonna be a big one.
Are you standing up for Will Griner?
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to stop you from making a bad mistake.
Oh, Ben, I can think for myself.
Can you? Think about this. Griner will have men all around him. I suppose you did cut him down. The odds are they'd kill you. And even if they didn't, you'd still be charged with murder. And Griner just isn't worth it.
No, but Frank was. We grew up together, Ben. He was the finest man I ever knew.
Yes, he was.
Yes. And he believed in law and order. He believed he could hang on to that quarter section even when Will Griner decided he wanted it. Now, that's what cost him his life.
We don't know that Griner killed him.
Oh, I do, Ben. The last thing that Frank ever said to me, you heard me say it in the court. If anything happens to me, look to Will Griner.
What about Louise? Have you thought about her?
I've got to do what I think is right.
That trial was raw, Harry. You know that.
Yeah, Roy, but jury found my client innocent.
There'll be others, and they're going to be a lot harder to convince. Go fishing, Harry. Week, 10 days, till the stink gets out of town.
Well, Roy, unfortunately, like you, I got a living to make.
Hey, here he comes, that old devil.
Will you stand clear, Ben?
John, the law isn't through with him yet. Give us a chance, will you? I think we can prove that he tampered with the witnesses.
You go on about your own business.
Now, John, if I have to, I'll knock you clear across this room. We're gonna fight about it.
Hey, Deegan!
Well, all right. You two tried to get me hanged. You'll find I'm not the forgiving sort. The both of you.
I give the law another chance. I'll wait.
Thank you.
But not for long, Ben.
You know the Tettinger place, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty far out, but I think we can find it all right.
Well, if he's not there, you find out where he is or what happened to him, but stick with it.
Will do.
What if you don't want to come back with us?
He's up to subpoena. You bring him back whether he wants to come or not.
All right.
Well, let's see if we can find Jim Fisher.
Where do we start?
Let's start with the stage office.
You heard me calling to you, pounding on the door.
Yes,
I was half beside myself, John. You must have known that.
I suppose.
But you shut me out. Why?
I'm sorry, Louise. Believe me.
John, I want to know why.
I apologize. Can't we leave it at that?
You can shut me out right here. Just as surely as closing a door in my face. It's the only part of your life I'm supposed to share, the parties, the picnics, the frivolities. That is not my idea of a marriage to you, John.
Mine either.
Well, is there some dark side of you don't want me to see? Were you enjoying the notion of killing Griner?
No. It's just, I was thinking all through the trial, what if they let him go? And they did. If I didn't speak to you, Louise, I suppose it's because I was afraid.
Of what?
That you'll make me turn from my duty.
What duty?
To Frank.
To Frank? Oh, John. Frank was a sweet, wonderful man. Beyond respecting his memory, you have no other duty to him.
I do.
You did. Or maybe you thought you did. Ben Cartwright and the law will take care of Will Griner properly. Now that's that. You mean that you were worried that I could talk you out of something as important as that?
Mm-hmm.
All this time, and I had no idea of my power over you.
I should have kept my mouth shut.
Fair warning, the man. After I have you safely married, I'm going to make you jump.
Oh, no hoops.
Place a real shambles, clothes and gear scattered over every place.
Looks like Mr. Fisher was in a hurry to leave. Yeah. Let's turn the livery stable.
Well, listen, I ain't got time to gab right now. Like you see, I'm getting ready to go.
This isn't a social call, Mr. Fisher. The sheriff would like to talk to you.
No, like I said, I ain't got time. I gotta get out of here.
Something about perjury.
$470, $480, $490, $500.
Well, I found it.
Jim, there's very few men in this county that carry that kind of cash around. And if they lost it, I'd know it.
I can't have that.
Now, Will Griner, he's got this kind of money. He paid you, didn't he?
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
All right. Then I'll just keep the money and try to find the rightful owner. You can run along home.
No, wait a minute, Sheriff.
No, that's all right. Go ahead. Too bad you're going to miss that little trip you'd planned, though.
Sheriff, Mr. Cartwright, they'll shut me off for good and all if I don't get out of here.
Who will?
Well, I can't tell you that, Sheriff. I dassn't.
Now, look, level with me. I'll protect you, providing you tell the truth.
Well, the other night, this fella, he knocked on my window, you know.
Who was it?
Well, I couldn't see. It was dark, and that's the truth. Anyways, they told me I better change my story about, seeing Griner on the road just before I found Frank Wheatner dead. They said if I didn't, they'd kill me. And if I did, they'd pay me $500.
Now, Roy, there's no identification. You can't arrest Griner on that.
Yeah, but there's more. I told him I might be willing to deal, if I could get a sign from the head man himself. And so the next day in court, well, Griner, he kind of nodded at me and, held up his hand like this, you know what I mean? So I nodded back at him, and I just changed the part of my story to where I said I didn't recognize him on the road, but I did, and it was Griner.
Jim, there's one other thing.
Huh?
Who gave you the money?
Will Griner.
Griner?
You turned him loose, he come to my place and give me the money.
Roy, you're gonna arrest Griner, aren't you?
Just as quick as I can get out there.
Want me to help you?
I sure do, Ben. If you get Hoss to keep an eye on Jim here, I'd appreciate it to have you ride with me and back me up.
Now, Roy, there's one other thing. Griner will probably ask you to send for me. Well, this time you tell him to get another lawyer.
I'll get Hoss.
That'll be a pleasure.
Hey, you want to do something?
Yeah, sure. What you want to do?
I don't know. Anything you want.
We could have had a hanging. Right here in town, too. If there'd been any kind of a jury.
Hey, you want to go over to the barber shop and hoorah old George Lassen some more?
He closed up.
He was some jury foreman.
He's probably hiding under the bed.
It was a shame about the hanging.
Yeah. And Johnny Deegan. I was counting on him taking a shot at Griner.
Yeah, I wonder what got into him.
I was counting on it.
Everything's just kind of petered out.
Hey! I know what we can do. Directly after it gets dark, we'll go over to old Lady Curran's dress store. Bust in one of the windows.
Well, we can still do it. Makes it even better. Lets everybody know how we feel.
Yeah.
Cartwright, never quit trying, do you? That won't do you any good, because I'll reach out and put my mark on you wherever you are.
No, not that one. Come on.
That's the one. Do it. Come on. It's gonna make a fearsome racket. It was your idea. You ain't glad. Don't tickle it. Hit it.
Subordination to perjury.
Yes, it means... Well,
I understand what it means. And I understand it's not a hanging offense.
No.
Will Griner committed a hanging offense. Now we have the proof.
Yes, I believe that there are procedures for getting a new trial sometimes.
Let's do that.
Well, it's not that easy, and it takes time. And in the end, the whole case would depend on a man who has already proven that he's capable of lying under oath, and any half-decent defense attorney would tear him apart. I don't think we could get a conviction.
What's the penalty for this subordination thing?
About 5 years.
Oh, that's wonderful. Just dandy.
Well, I know you're disappointed.
You've done everything you could, Ben, and I appreciate that.
I think it's the best we could do under the circumstances. Well, I best be getting along.
Now, good night, Ben.
Good night.
We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. And he won't go marching on. We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. We will hang Will Griner from a sour apple tree. And he won't go marching on.
Estamos Bonanza.
Then we gotta break this up. Men, you've had your fun now. Come on, let's break this up. Go on up the street, please. Come on, Tim. Let's go. Up to the saloon, up to the Silver Dollar. Have fun, but let's break this thing up. John, I want to talk to you over my office.
John? Well, am I under arrest?
No. I've got a pretty fair idea of who's responsible for that little prank, and I think you do, too. So if you just tell the boys to settle up with Mrs. Kern, I'll forget about it.
Is that all you want with me?
No, it isn't, John. You've got lynching in mind.
I expect that's a pretty common notion tonight. You've been speaking to him, Ben?
No. He didn't have to. Because I know if there's any real trouble, you're going to be right in the middle of it. Maybe even start it. But the thing that worries me is that everybody knows how I feel about Will Griner, and that might just lead to a bad misunderstanding.
Such as?
Thinking that I might just put up a token fight if somebody tried to take him. But I'd shoot, John. I'd shoot to kill anybody that tried to take a prisoner from me illegally.
Is that all?
You can just spread that word to anybody that thinks different, and including yourself.
John, I hope you and me don't end up on the opposite sides of this.
Well, now, that's up to you.
We'll be on the side we've always been.
The side of the law.
Law isn't perfect, but where would we be without it?
Ben, that only makes sense when it's just.
Would there be any justice without it?
John, go on home. Drop it.
And that was going to be my advice to you.
Ben, if it comes to the worst, I can depend on you, can I?
Of course.
When do you reckon little Joe and Candy will be back in town?
As soon as they find Charlie Tettinger. Roy.
Yeah.
I think maybe I better hunt up Al Crane, so we can round up some of the boys.
Good idea.
Tettinger!
Found his horse. He's grazing out back.
All this stuff's still in there.
Well, looks like he ran into some kind of trouble along the way, and his horse came wandering back in here.
Why don't we take him with us, see what we can find out?
Yeah.
Crane, your daughter ran over to my house, said you wanted to see me.
Oh, yes, Bert. You know Ben Cut, right?
Sure, Ben.
Good to see you, Bert. Ben here has some disturbing news. I wanted you to hear it.
The lynching talk, huh? I think it's just talk. What do you think?
Well, I think there's every possibility of trouble.
It's like choosing the lesser of two evils. Griner or a lynching. I'm sorry, bad joke. What did you want from us, Ben?
Well, Bert, you're the captain of the volunteer brigade. You're chairman of the Civic Fathers. There's 50 men right there. Round them up. Bring them down to the jail.
And risk their necks for Will Griner?
Well, with that many men, there wouldn't be much of a risk.
Ben, can you guarantee that?
Well, no, I can't guarantee.
Well, now, even if you couldn't, I don't think that my men would lift one finger to help Griner.
Well, Griner has nothing to do with it. We're talking about a principle, not a man.
As a matter of fact, the town will be better off without Griner.
Well, be that as it may, the fact still remains. Do we want a lynching in Virginia City or don't we? And if we don't, we've got to do something about it.
Ben's got a point there, Bert. We've got to uphold the law.
One man's life, a guilty man at that, against the lives of innocent townspeople?
Now, look, if Griner is lynched, they won't be innocent.
That's right. And if something does happen tonight, we'll throw the full weight of the community and the law against whoever does it. That's proper and it's sensible. But we can't go around carrying guns half of the night, worrying our wives.
I'll go along with that.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Sorry to have troubled you.
Teach you what real law's like. Go on, get him, Pete. Hey! Tate! Hey, Tate, I want you to write some papers for me. Tate, you got some clients out here. She ain't coming out.
This ought to get him out. Come on. Let's go get it.
Yeah. Get up!
Get away from there! Pete! What's the idea? Don't you know this is private property? You're attempting to break and enter. I'm taking you in. Come on.
Come on now, Roy. Just win.
What are you picking on him for, Roy? Now, you shut up or I'll be taking you in, too.
Oh, come on, Roy. We'll just have a little fun.
What's the idea? What is this?
Hey, John, you know what we done? We smashed an old Teague's window.
Wasn't it grand?
I don't think the sheriff will be bothering us too much anymore either.
You boys know that Griner's not going to get more than 5 years in prison.
No.
It's a fact.
Well, that ain't fair. That ain't fair at all.
I mean to see he gets hanged.
Attaboy, John.
But with him in jail, I'm going to need all the help I can get. Are you game, boys?
Sure. We'll get you all the help you need.
You got it, John.
But do it quietly. Bring them down to the store. I'll be waiting there.
Can you spare me a minute, Johnny?
Louise. What are you doing out so late?
Is killing Will Griner going to bring Frank back?
No, of course not.
Then all you're doing is satisfying your own idea of revenge.
No. I am not a vengeful man.
What do you call it?
Justice. Having a sense of what's right and wrong and living by it. I'm not going to argue with you, Louise. This doesn't concern you.
Do you know that there are men in this town, respectable men, willing to stand by and let you do their dirty work for them? And, Johnny, when it's over, they'll punish you. All self-righteous and indignant.
No.
They are using you. You'll be destroyed. That does concern me.
Ben Cartwright told you this.
Yes, he did.
But it can't be helped.
Oh, Johnny. In mercy's name, we've been planning a future together. What happens to that? Please, think. Be practical.
I am being practical. Will Griner's beaten one trial already. It's likely he'll beat another. How can I show my face around this town with him running free?
Then we will move. I'll go anywhere with you. Johnny, please. Please.
It's all right, boys. Come on in. The lady's just leaving.
Thought he'd be safe here than just leaving him at the doctor's office.
Boy, they sure worked you over, didn't they?
Yeah, afraid I ain't gonna be much help to you. But I'm gonna have to deputize you two. So if you raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear to enforce and uphold the laws of the state of Nevada to the best of your ability, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
You're deputized.
Cartwright, turn me loose. Let me make a run for it.
Listen, if they bust in here, make sure they get the right man. I mean, I hear tell all of them making mistakes and getting the wrong man. Mr. Cartwright, you said you take care of Mr. Cartwright.
Been a lot of excitement out there. Maybe it's been enough to satisfy him. Maybe it's all over, huh?
Maybe.
Did you have any luck with Al Crane?
No. I don't think we're going to get any help from them.
All right, John. The rest of them are gathering outside.
Well, that ought to be more than enough. All right, boys, listen to me. Listen. What we're going to do is only common justice. Will Griner shot and killed an unarmed man because he wanted that man's land and water. And then he bribed the witnesses to get himself an acquittal. Well, Griner's got to pay for that at the end of a rope tonight. Yeah. All right, now. Right. There may be a little trouble at the jail.
Well, the sheriff's taken care of.
Well, that might help. And I'll surely try to get us in without any trouble. But there's almost sure to be some sort of difficulty after it's all over, so I want us all to pledge your solemn word that we'll stick together and see this through right to the end. You get it. Now listen. After we've gotten Griner out, nobody is to torment him. Beyond tying him up, you're not to raise a hand to him. We've got a wagon. We'll take him down to the freight depot. There's a hoist. We'll hang him there. Agreed? Agreed. Let's get on with it.
Hey, Paul. Paul? You hear anything?
Cartwright!
What are you loaded with?
Double lot.
So am I.
Back me up.
Sheriff! Mr. Cartwright!
That's far enough.
Ben, I want to talk to you.
That's a good idea.
We've come to get Will Griner. I'm only asking you to stand out of the way so that we can take him quietly.
You know I can't do that.
I know there's just you and Hoss, so we'll get him. The only question is, must we spill blood to do it?
Now listen to me, John.
No. I've heard enough of talk and threats and arguing.
We've been friends for a long time.
And we can still be if you'll just get out of our way.
Can you shoot me? Because that's what it'll come down to if you try to come in here.
I've already put aside everything that matters to me. I'll not let anything stand in my way. I'll be coming first, right in front. And you kill me. Study on it, Ben.
Most of those fellas out there are friends of yours.
I've been thinking on that.
You're gonna have to decide what to do. I can't ask you to shoot.
You don't have to.
Let's go.
The next one is coming right at you.
You had enough? Have you? Go on home. Go on home. Need a doctor, Hoss.
Yeah, right away, Paul.
John, I'm sorry. I didn't want to shoot. I didn't have any choice.
Well, it changes nothing. We'll get him another time.
We found Tettinger. Shot in the back.
Tettinger was a friend of mine.
Jim, that's why we're asking to help us. You were both witnesses. You both saw Griner right after Wheatley's death.
Well, all I know is they told Tettinger and me if we didn't take the money, they'd kill us. So I took it. He didn't, and he's dead.
That had to be one of Griner's gun hands. But they'll peach on each other, and I'll find out from them which one it was. Now, you can depend on that.
What'll happen to Will Griner?
I don't believe he'll hang, but I can guarantee you that he'll spend the rest of his life in prison. You can go, Jim. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Let's go away. I'm a little amused at my own virtue. I found this in the street. You happen to know any careless girls with skinny fingers?
Now, Candy, I just might.
Ben, I don't suppose we can put all the pieces together.
No, I suppose not, but maybe some of them. Why don't you start by putting this one where it belongs? Roy?
Thank you, Boyd.